Do you think that you pick up habits and lifestyle changes from the Malaysians? You think you took on a lot of these
Yeah,
habits?
boleh. Of course, man. Being patient and kindness, and even to how to slow down. What I've noticed for sure in Malaysia, it doesn't matter which ethnicity, if it's Malay, Chinese, or Indian, there is, especially when it comes to men, extremely fearful of be true and honest with their feelings. We don't seek for help. We think I can do it by myself. And we keep bottling down and repressing emotions. And unfortunately, those emotions, in a way, they come up.
Do you think that it's a cultural thing here, like the religion? Do you think it's a family thing that makes people more closed off, makes it more taboo? Is that what it is?
Well, Ben, your question is always a bit sensitive. Maybe somebody doesn't like the reply, but yes, it is.
Good day, everyone. Today I'm interviewing an expat from Italy who's been in Malaysia for more than 6 years. He's now started a successful business, and today we're going to hear his story. I want to hear about his struggles in Malaysia, what he thinks of the country, and I want to hear about his business as well. So let's go. Hey man, how you doing?
I'm doing very well. I'm happy to see you again, Ben.
Yeah, great to see you. Tell us a little bit about yourself. What brought you to Malaysia? Yeah, what are you doing here in Malaysia?
My name is Maurizio, but everybody calls me Mauri. That's my nickname. I'm Italian, and I came to Malaysia, this beautiful place, 6 years ago. And yeah, long time, man. And I came at the beginning for business, and it was quite interesting because I was literally by myself. I didn't know anyone. At the beginning, I immediately perceived the beauty of this city, this community, the diversity of it. But of course, I went through struggles of solitude, and I was mainly alone all the time. Step by step, being an extrovert, I've always been quite easy for me to introduce myself to people and to be kind with others. Consequently, people start to accept me, and then I start to build up my journey in Malaysia.
Is Malaysia what you expected of it? Did you have any thoughts about Malaysia before coming here? Did you know what you were getting into?
Powerful question. So back then, I was working in the fashion industry for big brands like Prada, Gucci, and so on. So when they told me to relocate in Malaysia, I was wow. I said, wow, Malaysia. I had very few information about the country. I've been traveling before to Southeast Asia, so I had an idea what to expect in terms of energy of the place. But to be honest, since day one, I still remember it was 8 o'clock in the evening, was raining, came from Europe, and I really felt a special energy here. So I had no ideas, no expectations, but I'm very, very grateful. Actually, every single day I say thank you to be here because such an amazing place, amazing community, and I'm learning a lot as well. So I really love Malaysia, and especially Kuala Lumpur.
So you stand by the decision to come here?
Absolutely. I went through a lot. It seems very romantic, to go and live abroad.
Yeah.
But of course, there are times of solitude or loneliness as well, at times of struggles, that you are by yourself. But again, the kindness of even, let's call it strangers, when they saw me in a bit of difficult time, I've seen a lot of locals then become friends that they were there to help me. So I'm very grateful for that. During COVID, I found myself again isolated in my apartment in PJ. To be honest, for me, COVID has been a great time actually of self-discovery because I invest a lot of time. Oh, guys, this is not me, huh?
That really caught me off guard. Wow. It caught me so off guard. I was gonna...
As I mentioned before, I was by myself. Then I spent 1 year in Malaysia, start to relate with people, get the first friends, and but then suddenly COVID, as we all experienced, was back by myself in PJ, isolated in my apartment, and then in a way it's been a blessing because I chose to invest in myself, to get to know myself and overcome a lot of fears. Sure. On the other side, I really had no one where I was experiencing struggles. I had still very little friends, so I had to sort it out things by myself. And taught me a big lesson on how important it is to have close friends and people especially that can hold your space, where you can be vulnerable and, have a good exchange, because I've seen during COVID that many people were so afraid to open up.
Some people went downhill mentally, some people were doing quite fine, and then nobody is prepared for that, I think. Nobody ever expects something like that to happen. I want to thank all of you from the bottom of my heart for watching my videos, for making 2024 literally the best year of my life. Also, a huge thank you to BetterHelp for sponsoring this video and truly providing something valuable to the world. You probably wouldn't expect this, but I've dealt with crippling anxiety issues throughout most of my life. My whole family has as well. Most of the people around me have dealt with severe mental health issues. Without therapy, I wouldn't be here today, and I definitely wouldn't be doing interviews, putting my face out there on YouTube and feeling comfortable, talking to people, interviewing people on the street. Therapy taught me how to challenge those negative thoughts that come with anxiety. I used to absolutely spiral, thinking that the worst case scenario would always happen. But now I stop, I pause, and I think, is this thought realistic? Is there any evidence to actually back this up? It's a total game changer for me. BetterHelp has a huge network of over 30,000 licensed individuals with all different specialties, all different backgrounds. It's 100% online, which for me is incredibly comfortable and incredibly convenient as well. If you don't click with your therapist, you can easily change at any time at no extra cost. Just click the link down in the description or go to betterhelp.com/BenFisherman and you'll get 10% off your first month of therapy.
The way to serve people at times is simply to listen to them, because I was so desperate to have somebody listening to my struggles, but I have no one around. So I had to figure it out. But what I learned for sure during these struggles is that to shuffle downs, to repress the emotions, it does not serve nothing. We have to actually to let them out and be aware of them and deal with them, So that was one of the main struggles. But related to Malaysia itself, was amazing, man, because then I start to share a bit with the neighbors, and they give me support. I was cooking things, give it to my neighbors and vice versa. So even during COVID, we were able to create a micro community within the building. It was just great.
That's great. And did you find that coming out of COVID, did you have a new sense of way to go out and make friends, or did you have a newfound mindset like, okay, I'm going to act a different way, I'm going to maybe be more social or maybe make more friends, or did you already find it quite easy before COVID to make friends here in Malaysia?
I love your questions. Okay, so it makes it, I think the point is being extrovert, for me, it is not a struggle to introduce myself. So according to my experience, I don't think I ever felt much resistance when it comes to make friends. What I believe, Ben, it really depends the way we behave, because once you are kind and compassionate and smiling and honest and genuine, and you want to meet people, especially in Malaysia, and I believe because of such a beautiful diversity with this macro community, Malaysia, and then you have Malay, you got Indian, Chinese, you got Masalay, so everybody is quite open to receive. And I always found amazing people receiving me. Of course, sometimes you get along, sometimes you don't, but I haven't felt any kind of resistance at the beginning. I was quite open the doors.
So what are you doing for work here?
I'm absolutely a passionate and committed men's coach. And when I say men's coach, I do personally one-on-one coaching to men, and we are co-creating together incredible communities. This journey started in 2000, actually 3 years ago. It started as an experiment and became an experience, because at the moment there are 3 big communities and about 400 men joining the communities, 2 in Kuala Lumpur, 1 in Penang. And I founded My Master Man, which is a platform where we do men's work. Men's work are all those activities targeting men in terms of mental health, physical well-being, and emotional well-being. And it's a beautiful journey because they are mainly, of course, Malaysians. There are some foreigners joining, but it's growing because men, they are the one that actually they are suffering the most, but silently. They are so afraid to be judged as weak if they open up in their struggles. So what we are doing is creating empowering community where men gather together and support one another, but from a space of not judgment, or from a space of supporting one another, and be brutally honest and courageous enough to address that as men we do have to do some work in order to be more loving with our wife, kids, girlfriends, colleagues, and fellow brothers as well.
I want to know, how has living in Malaysia influenced your overall perspective on mental health?
Well, mental health is a massive topic, not only in Malaysia, but worldwide. And thanks God now, corporations and individuals, organizations are putting way more attention. Even in general, the general public as well is a bit more aware. What I've noticed for sure in Malaysia, it doesn't matter which ethnicity, if it's Malay, Chinese, or Indian, there is, especially when it comes to men, a lot of fear of open up. Extremely fearful of be true and honest with their feelings. And I believe there's a lot of conditioning, that comes along with education and religion as well. And the struggles of seek for help. When it comes to men, we don't seek for help. Yeah. We think I can do it by myself. And we keep bottling down and repressing emotions. And unfortunately, those emotions, in a way, they come up. It is a serious problem that must be addressed. And at my mastermind, we are doing the best as we can, to gather guys and, to work out together, to go hiking together, to have these sessions once a month called Men's Circle, where we sit and then we open up and we discuss on how we can overcome. Mm-hmm. And it's so beautiful, Ben, because once you give men an opportunity to be safe and feel safe and open up, you can see even successful men financially that they can see, oh my gosh, I'm not the only man going through this. And they ask to the fellow brother how to overcome. Yeah. So we facilitate the connection, the brotherhood between men. And it's amazing because I really want to say this, that the amount of love and support that I receive from the wives, the sisters, the mothers of these guys, it's incredible because even the women around these guys, they benefit out of it because the man becomes more authentic, more able to express love, to receive love, to be more even joyful,
Do you think that it's a cultural thing here, like the religion? Do you think it's a family thing that makes people more closed off, makes it more taboo? Is that what it is?
Well, Ben, your question is always a bit sensitive. Maybe somebody doesn't like the reply, but yes, it is. Mm-hmm. I'm coming as an Italian from a Catholic background, even though my family is not very religious, but as a Catholic, you have this kind of guilt, even though you haven't been doing nothing. And yes, I have to say yes, of course, the education received and the religion plays at times, sometimes, plays a part of it. But more than everything is when the father and mother go to the kids and say, you cannot cry, you're a man, you just have to push down your emotions, you push. We all grow up with that attitude. So we don't know how to deal with our emotions. And it's at times when you get anger, you get frustrations or fears, it's easy to have a beer, maybe a pill, or distract yourself. Yeah. It won't does nothing to you because the next day you start over again. So yes, conditioning from society, education and background and upbringing, it does make a massive difference.
Interesting. So as an American, we have this conditioning, of course, not opening up. Of course, it's becoming more out in the open. It's becoming more okay and accepted for men to speak out about their feelings, talk about their emotions, things like this. But growing up, we've always known that Asians in general are even the next level of being closed off and having issues in terms of parents and opening up to their parents and maybe being told you have to act this way or this is not how you act as a man, this type thing. So even growing up in school in America, we had this, maybe it's a stereotype about Asians, but then being here, now it comes to life where it's like, this is a real thing. And now I'm seeing it with my own eyes and making Malaysian friends. And I'm seeing just how closed off they actually are until you maybe get to really know them or until they're drinking or something lowers their inhibitions to where they feel comfortable,
Beautifully said, Ben. Beautifully said. And to all my beautiful, amazing brothers, fellow brothers, Malaysians, it is not weakness acknowledging what's going on in your heart, in your head, and in your body. And there is not a chance. You can't change your life if you're not aware of what is holding you back. So that's what we do at the Men's Circle during our sessions. It is to understand that self-awareness, understanding our inner dialogue, understanding how we process things, understanding how we react or we respond to situations. For men, it's fundamental because the only emotion that we feel, as you mentioned, allowed to express is anger because everybody accepted it. Yeah. But if you see a man on the street crying, it catches immediately your attention because it's unusual. Mm-hmm. But behind the door, we all go through struggles. We all have our fears. And acknowledging your fears, it does not make you a weak man. It makes you a wise man. Because once we acknowledge the fear we have, the insecurities, then we can shift it because we understand where they come from and how we can deal with them. So it's very important to share with the audience, and thanks for this opportunity, that before to be a father, before to be an entrepreneur, before to be a football player, before to be a husband, a father, you are a man. In the capacity that you are able to have an healthy inner dialogue with yourself and understand, which is a beautiful process, understand yourself, being your best friend, only then whatever dream you have in life is going to be accomplished. Whatever is going to be making money, having the best partner, wife, good friends. But if we do not understand how we process things, we will never get anywhere because the same limitation and patterns and troubles will always come up, go on and on and on until we solve them.
So, what would you say are some of the biggest mental health challenges that you've noticed with men here in Malaysia?
I call it the syndrome of people pleasing, having not the courage to say no and just say all the time yes, 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 because simply we are, and I was there, guys, absolutely there, in my 30s especially, so afraid to be rejected by an individual or a woman or a group of people or a group of men that we always say yes, 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 I will do that. But we know deep down that we do not want to do that or say that thing. So people pleasing, so fear of rejection and isolation. This is actually in Malaysia, in Italy, in the States, every single man feels and thinks that is the only hero in his own journey. And he does not understand that other men are going through the same. And as we said before, men they do not share their struggles. So isolation, feeling totally lonely and disconnected because we are so trapped by fulfilling the archetype, the role of the provider and to provide money and help for everybody, that we neglect ourselves. So we keep creating an identity of a man that it is not us. We just pretend to be somebody else. And what happened? We create this personality, and this space in between who we pretend to be and who we really are, it is full of anger, frustration, self-judgment. And what happened again? We end up to numb ourselves. At times could be video games, at times drugs, alcohol, porn, whatever you name it, because we need something to just, feel distressed. But actually, guys, I can promise you, if you get to know yourself and you fall in love with the process of getting to know yourself and accepting the shadows, the insecurities as your strength, because we are everything, you don't need a beer, you don't need video games, you don't need distraction, because you're going to be okay with yourself. People pleasing, isolation. That's for sure.
Is there any particular story or experience that stands out to you during your time working here in Malaysia?
Wow, yeah, man. Actually, quite a lot. But there's one in particular. I won't name the name of the brother, even though I hope he's watching us. He's a Malaysian guy. And he's been coming to the men's circle since the very first day. So already 3 years now we're going through this. And he was going through a lot of hardships with his wife, based in the UK, and personal struggles, relationship with parents, mother, a bit toxic relationships. And suddenly, after 1 year and a half, joining the men's circle, we went out to celebrate him, and he took me aside. He says, Mauri, thanks to the men's circle and the men's work we are doing with the brothers and with you, my life changed. He said, I became a better man, better relationship with my parents, my wife, and more than everything with himself. And it really touched my heart because at times, especially when you serve people, I have a lot of self-doubt. Am I good enough to help people? Am I doing the right work? And that one really touched my heart because if this is really working, we are really doing a great service for the community. So I have many stories, but some of them are very personal, so I don't think it's the... But this one was very important for me because was actually validating in a way even the work that we are doing.
Is this kind of thing one of the reasons you can keep going? Is this something that gives you the motivation and the one of the reasons that you do this?
Wow. Personally, I went through a lot of self-doubt, of course. When it comes to organize events for men and lead in a way a group of men, of course, men have strong personalities, so there is a lot of work that I have to do on myself as well. And the motivation it really comes from my heart, because there is nothing so powerful to see men that they are letting go of their armor, and they are open to, and willing to do the work, to get out of the comfort zone. And you see them changing by the time, to getting more power, to get more even success in life. It's beautiful. I truly love not only succeed myself, but I love seeing others succeed. And if I'm in a way I can contribute on a success of another fellow brother, wow, that's my motivation.
Is a lot of the people that come to you Malaysians? Is it quite mixed with foreigners, Malaysians, everyone?
Yes, as I mentioned, at the moment there are more than 400 men in between Penang and Kuala Lumpur. Yes, it's very mixed. We have brother Muslim, Malay, we got Indians, we got Chinese, Malaysians, and of course Matsale is very dynamic. Every time the community changes, of course, sometimes men fly out of the country, other comes in, so it's very dynamic. But I love it because it is not a religious group, it is not therapy, it's an empowering group. So yes, it's very international, I would say.
Are you planning on staying long term in Malaysia? Do you have any thoughts about relocating elsewhere sometime in the future?
Wow, Ben, life is unpredictable. So, but if you ask me right now, for the amount of work I've been co-creating now, yes, that's the plan. Being an Italian, of course, as I can foresee in my life, have 2/3 places in the world that I call home. Surely born and raised in Italy, Malaysian, Kuala Lumpur. My partner, she is Malaysian as well, so it's absolutely Malaysia. And I will be happy. I will be happy if life allows me to do the work here. Yes, I won't be surprised, let's say, if I find myself here for the long run.
What do you think is the biggest difference of doing this kind of work here in Malaysia versus if you were doing this back in Italy?
Man, wow. That's an assumption. I think a bit of resistance at time, especially from some men that, they consider that men's work is a group of weak men or sissy guys or girly, There's a bit of stereotype on that. And actually, if you come to the men's circle, we are CEOs, guys making very good financially, even students. So at the beginning of the journey, but it can happen. There is some resistance, especially from the alpha men, that they're actually the one that they are most in need because they think that they have everything under control. Sometimes probably I got examples of a friend is doing this same job in Dubai. He has 100 men per man circles. In the States, in Europe, there are big, probably it's an assumption, maybe a bit more engagement. I would say at times it takes a bit of time to guys to join the men's circle. But when they join and they see the power of it, they love it. But to get in takes a lot of time. They are really afraid a bit of, get exposure. Let's say, oh my God, they're going to be there. Am I going to be judged this week or something?
Is this something that's changing, would you say, over time? Is this something that is getting more, people are getting more comfortable? You think Malaysians are getting more comfortable opening up as time goes?
Well, Ben, yes. I've seen, especially the youngster generation. Now I do a lot of reels. If you follow then my IG, my mastermind, I can see now the youngster, they're knocking at the door. So I say, hey, brother Mauri, I saw what you're doing. I'm interested to join. I'm a student, I feel, very disconnected. I don't know how to address certain situation. I would like to join. So yes, it is happening. And I won't be surprised that this thing is going to get big in terms of numbers. And that's my will. I don't speak Bahasa, but my dream is one day to have coaches, locals, that, they can go to Terengganu, East Malaysia, and do men's circles in remote areas, where actually men, they are, especially in the small kampung areas, they really need support, So that will be one of my dreams as well.
Do you think you'll ever learn Bahasa? You think it's something, 6 years in at this point, if you don't have any yet, my assumption is maybe 10 years in, maybe you won't have it. I'm 1 year in, I don't know any, everyone tells me you have to learn. And I think about it and I think I'd like to, but maybe it's just a time thing. Maybe I just need to put in the effort, but I don't know. But I'm curious, what is your thoughts about, learning Bahasa? Is it unnecessary or how do you feel about it?
Okay, so no, you're right. You're absolutely right. And I got for 2 years in a row, and I have to say, I promised something that I didn't fulfill. That was to go to class to Bahasa. Okay. It will change. I can have a very basic conversation. I can pick up, but I won't be able to talk about self-awareness of men's work in Bahasa. Sure. It will change a lot. I got some friends They speak very good Bahasa, and of course it changes a lot, especially when you go outside of Kuala Lumpur in East Malaysia. It will help a lot. So
Maybe.
yeah. No, maybe I don't like to promise, but surely it will help a lot, to speak Bahasa.
To be fair, I mean, the English is so strong here in KL, it makes it difficult to get yourself to learn it or to feel that there's a need to learn it, because people, they actually want to communicate in English. The Malaysians would prefer to communicate with us in English. They always are wanting to improve their own English, and it's natural and easy to get around with English. So for me, it's not even in my mind, where if you're in Japan, if you're in Korea or something, it's going to be in your mind every day, like, "Oh, I got to learn this language." And so I think naturally, being in Malaysia, it's like there's not a ton of incentive to learn it unless you're extremely interested in it, or it makes sense from a business perspective if it would really help, something like this. But yeah, I think it's just a testament to the English of Malaysians being really strong, yeah?
Yeah, and especially when it comes to communicate with elders, which I always loved elders and have a lot of respect, it will have the communication. And if you don't mind, I want to say something that after 6 years in Malaysia, I want to say really thank you, because as a person, I've changed a lot. I've learned kindness, the compassion. I learned a lot of things that I'm immensely grateful to Malaysians and Malaysia, because it really changed my life. It is changing because I found Kuala Lumpur especially a very healing place. The quality of and genuinity of the people, the quality of relationship with my friends, I never expected in my life to have so loving and understanding relationships. And I'm really grateful, and my girlfriend knows every single day I look outside and say thank you life, for being here. And I'm not saying this to please you, because it's really what I believe. It's a big thanks really for this opportunity and this men's work that we are doing, supporting men and communities. It's one of my ways to give back to the community, because as a foreigner, and before this I lived in Japan, in Colombia, in the United States, and of course in England, in Italy. As a foreigner, I believe that at least we have to give back something, because we are being hosting here. So that's one of my ways that I'm giving back to the community.
Do you think that you pick up habits and lifestyle changes from the Malaysians? You think you took on a lot of these habits?
Yeah, bole. Of course, man. Being patient, which a big one for me, and kindness, and even how to slow down. What I loved coming especially from Europe, back then I was working to fashion industry, so, very high pace. I came to Malaysia and I was still bringing along like this kind of craziness of working. And once you learn even to slow down and to still do your things, but to take the time to process things and to take your time, it's a big, I learned it from Malaysian as well. And I found it when you have the right balance in between taking action and just being, slow down, be still, it's a big lesson. But in kindness, the kindness I found in Malaysia is actually what I was looking for. It's mind-blowing for me, the kindness and genuinity of the people. It makes my day every single day.
What is your favorite place to travel to in Malaysia, and why?
Well, I'm fully in love with Kuala Lumpur. For some reason, the day I came here 6 years ago, I really fell in love with this place. Beside, I would say I'm in love with Penang because of the energy of the place, the community. Now I have friends there, good friends. We do the men's circle as well there. And I would say Penang. I found very authentic. I love still the old buildings, which I believe is important to honor the traditions. And Malaysia has beautiful traditions. And I'm a big fan of Borneo, even though I visited very, very little. But my dream is, and I will accomplish it, is to visit the tribes in Borneo. So at the moment, beside Kuala Lumpur, is truly Penang with no doubts.
For me, Penang also is great. Penang, Borneo as well, Sabah. Actually, for me, Sabah is at the top. Highly recommend. I say it so much. People always, they probably hear it a million times, but I can't praise Sabah enough. So when you get a chance, check it out. It's very good. So in terms of KL then, what are some of your favorite places maybe to go here in KL? Whether it's a restaurant, a rooftop type place. Do you have any specific places that you could maybe recommend people to check out?
Okay, it depends. When it comes to Makan, of course, Malaysians are the number ones. There are so many good places. What I love, if I want to eat Italian, I usually go in Ciancate at La Bottega Riccardo. Because it's really proper Italian food. Like the setting is very basic, but the food itself is absolutely 100% Italian taste.
La Bottega Ricardo.
Yeah, he is the owner. He's a crazy Italian guy, married with a local Chinese Malaysian with 2 kids. And if I like vegetarian, I go to Kusa, which is a very good place, quite hidden, but absolutely recommended. Kusa, Kusa. I have no affiliate with them. And a good pizza, I will suggest you to go, as in Italian, I will suggest you to go to Heritage Pizza, eat the roll. It's really good pizza. But to be honest with you, most of the time I cook myself. My diet is not very sexy. It's like chicken breast and broccoli because I do a lot of sports. But yes, if I go out, those are the places. And of course, KL Park and KLCC Center, I just love it. I just walk around taking pictures all the time. I enjoy.
All right, we'll close it off in this way. I want to know if you could sum up your experience in Malaysia in just one sentence,
Oh.
what would it be?
Immense gratitude, where I'm experiencing every day, every single day, immense gratitude to be part of this community, to serve in my way this community. And I love the diversity. I walk on the street and look, I got goosebumps, and I see big buildings, beautifully designed. And then you go to Little India, it seems to be in India. Then you go to Chinatown, it seems to be in China. And then you go to the mosque, it seems to be way in Middle East, whatever. It's in this beautiful city, you have all the world. And the diversity, it's such an amazing thing that at times people, I know, between communities, sometimes there's a bit of, scratch and misunderstanding, maybe due to religions or whatever is. Actually, guys, you have no idea how blessed you are to live in such a beautiful community. And I'm grateful. So immense gratitude, and I'm celebrating diversity every single day. That's in a sentence how I'm experiencing Malaysia.
Well, thank you so much, Maury. I really
you.
appreciate you
Thank
doing
you.
this interview. I want to encourage all the men out there struggling, had struggles in the past, anything, going through something, consider joining a program like this. Just give it one time, give it a shot, see how it feels. And I'm sure it will change your life, and it will make you rethink the way you thought about mental health, physical health, men's health in general. Maury's a great guy, and I'm doing this interview because he's a friend of mine, not just to do it as a promotion or something like that. This is a genuine story, and I think that it can help a lot of people, and I think it's something that Malaysia needs, and that's really, really important, and is it's going to end up changing the country for the better. So I really appreciate it, man.
I appreciate you. I told you the first time I met you for actually the service that you're giving to the community as well, through your videos and the message, your sometimes uncomfortable questions you ask people. Yes, because it's so important. At times we see the uncomfort as something difficult to manage, but it's triggering us to think, and that's all about, the evolution comes when we are in a discomfort situation and we need to find solutions. So the job that you're doing with the community is very, very important. It's triggering very, very deep thoughts. And thanks for this opportunity, by the way. Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you, man. Thank you so much. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you press that like button and drop a comment below, and make sure you're subscribed to the channel as well. I'll see you in the next video. Next, make sure you watch my interview with this European family who decided to choose Malaysia over Europe. You can watch that right here.